Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that many couples face but rarely talk about. It's called roommate syndrome, and trust me, it can really put a damper on your relationship. You know, that thing when you go from planning romantic dinners to arguing about whose turn it is to empty the dishwasher? Yeah, we've all been there. But don't worry, we're going to break it all down and give you some tips on how to keep the love alive, even when you're sharing a bathroom sink. So let's get into it. Chapter 1. Remember the excitement? Remember when you first moved in together? It was all sunshine and rainbows, right? You picked out throw pillows together, argued over which mugs were whose, in a cute way, and maybe even adopted a plant to symbolize your growing love. Those were the days. Every night felt like a sleepover. You could stay up late talking, make breakfast together in your pajamas, and just enjoy each other's company without the pressure of having to say goodbye at the end of the night. It felt like you were living in your own little rom-com montage, and the best part? Just being in the same room was exciting. You didn't need fancy dates or elaborate vacations. Just being together, sharing your space, and building a life together was enough to make your heart flutter. It was pure bliss. Chapter 2. Sneaky and soul-crushing. But then, something changed. Slowly, almost without you noticing, the honeymoon phase faded, and you started to feel more like roommates than romantic partners. It's like that spark you worked so hard to ignite just fizzled out, leaving behind a pile of dirty laundry and a whole lot of unspoken resentment. So what exactly is roommate syndrome? It's that dreaded feeling of being stuck in a rut, where the passion and excitement you once felt have been replaced by a monotonous routine and a distinct lack of intimacy. You go through the motions, splitting chores, paying bills, and maybe even sharing a meal or two, but the romance? Well, let's just say it's gone on a very long vacation. It can happen so gradually that you don't even realize it's happening until you're knee-deep in it. One day you're slow dancing in the kitchen, and the next, you're arguing about whose turn it is to take out the trash. It's important to remember that experiencing roommate syndrome doesn't mean you've fallen out of love. It just means you've fallen into some bad habits and forgotten how to nurture the romantic connection you worked so hard to build. But don't worry. Just like we declutter our closets, we can declutter our relationships and rediscover that spark. Chapter 3. Are you just roomies now? So how can you tell if you're just roommates with a lease agreement? Well, for starters, you might notice a serious dip in intimacy. And no, I'm not just talking about physical intimacy, although that's important too. I'm talking about that emotional closeness, that feeling of really seeing and being seen by your partner. Remember those late-night talks that would stretch into the wee hours of the morning? The ones where you'd share your deepest thoughts, fears, and dreams? Yeah, those might be a distant memory. And in their place, surface-level conversations about groceries, bills, and whose turn it is to walk the dog. You might find yourselves arguing more often, and about things that never used to bother you. Suddenly, the way they load the dishwasher or fold their socks becomes a major point of contention. And those little quirks that you used to find endearing? Well, they're not so cute anymore. You might even start fantasizing about having your own space again. Remember when you couldn't wait to move in together? Now you dream of having a bathroom to yourself and a fridge stocked with your favorite snacks. Don't worry. It's perfectly normal to crave a little alone time, even in the most loving relationships. The good news is that roommate syndrome is not a death sentence for your relationship. It's simply a wake-up call, a sign that you need to put in a little extra effort to rekindle the romance and reconnect with your partner. So, how do you do that? Well, stay tuned because we're about to dive into some actionable tips that can help you break free from the roommate rut and reignite the spark. Chapter 4. It's not just about whose turn it is to do the dishes. Remember that game we used to play on the show, the Newlywed Game? It was hilarious to see how well couples knew each other, or sometimes how little. Well, communication is key in any relationship, but it's especially important when you're navigating the choppy waters of roommate syndrome. And no, I'm not talking about leaving passive-aggressive sticky notes on the fridge or having a 10-minute conversation about what's for dinner. I'm talking about real, honest, heart-to-heart communication, the kind where you sit down, make eye contact, put those phones away, people, and really listen to what your partner has to say. Start by sharing your own feelings. Tell your partner how you've been feeling neglected, unappreciated, or simply not as connected as you used to be. But remember, communication is a two-way street. So once you've shared your feelings, give your partner the space to do the same. And listen without interrupting, defending yourself, or offering solutions, unless they specifically ask for advice, of course. The key is to create a safe space where you both feel comfortable expressing your needs and desires without fear of judgment. It's about understanding each other's perspectives, even if you don't always agree. Chapter 5. Intimacy. It's more than just a cuddle on the couch. Okay, let's talk about intimacy. And no, I'm not just talking about what happens or doesn't happen in the bedroom. I'm talking about all kinds of intimacy, physical, emotional, and even intellectual. Remember when you first started dating? You couldn't keep your hands off each other, but as time goes by and you settle into a routine, it's easy to let those little gestures of affection fall by the wayside. But here's the thing, those little gestures, they matter. Holding hands, cuddling on the couch, a quick kiss, hello, and goodbye. They might seem small, but they can make a big difference in maintaining a sense of connection. And don't underestimate the power of physical touch. A back rub after a long day, a gentle caress on the arm during a movie, even just reaching for your partner's hand while you're walking down the street. These small acts of physical intimacy can go a long way in keeping the spark alive. But remember, intimacy goes beyond the physical. It's about creating opportunities for emotional connection. Share your thoughts and feelings, be vulnerable with each other, and make time for those deep, meaningful conversations that drew you to each other in the first place. Chapter 6. Date night, it's not just for new couples. Remember those early days of dating when you'd put on your best outfit and go out on the town, excited to spend quality time together? Well, just because you've swapped fancy dinners for takeout and Netflix doesn't mean date nights have to go extinct. In fact, they're even more important now that you're navigating the ups and downs of living together. Think about it. When was the last time you got dressed up, went out and actually focused on each other without any distractions? No phones, no chores, no talking about whose turn it is to mow the lawn. Date night doesn't have to be a big, expensive affair. It could be something as simple as cooking a meal together, trying a new activity, or even just taking a walk in the park. The important thing is to create a space where you can reconnect, have fun, and remember why you fell in love in the first place. And don't forget about the little gestures. Surprise your partner with their favorite takeout, leave a sweet note on the bathroom mirror, or plan a weekend getaway. These small acts of love and appreciation can go a long way in keeping the romance alive. Chapter 7. Couples Therapy. It's like a tune-up for your relationship. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ellen, couples therapy? Isn't that a little extreme? But here's the thing. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It means you're both committed to making your relationship work, and you're willing to put in the effort to make it stronger. Think of it like this. You take your car in for regular tune-ups, right? To make sure everything's running smoothly, and to catch any potential problems before they become major issues. Well, couples therapy is kind of like a tune-up for your relationship. It's a safe space where you can talk through your issues with a trained professional who can help you communicate more effectively, understand each other's perspectives, and develop healthy coping mechanisms. And the best part? You don't have to wait until things are falling apart to seek help. In fact, many couples find that regular therapy sessions help them stay connected, maintain a strong bond, and prevent those little annoyances from snowballing into major conflicts. Keeping the spark alive. You got this. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, Every relationship has its ups and downs. Even I have to remind Portia to take out the trash sometimes. But seriously, with a little effort, open communication, and maybe a few surprise date nights, you can keep the love alive, even when it feels like you're living with your best friend instead of your romantic partner. Remember, you're in this together. And sometimes, all it takes is a little reminder of why you fell in love in the first place to rekindle the spark. See you next time.